Get your pen and pencils ready because we're going to have a pop quiz on House of X, issue number 1. Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to bring you that all-important comic book review so you, the fans, can make a decision on what comic books to buy. And today, guys, we're talking about the highly anticipated House of X. This is issue number 1, and this book is written by the great Jonathan Hickman, and the artwork is done by Pepe Larez. So let's talk about the artwork first in this book before we get into Jonathan Hickman's writing, okay? So the artwork in this issue, it's absolutely gorgeous. I also love the coloring here, and I feel like when the action scenes are actually going to happen in this book, I think it's going to be gorgeous. I think the characters look great. When you look at Magneto in this book with his white costume, he looked badass. The facial expressions look good. Cyclops looked awesome. Even Professor X, he looks a little weird with that Cerebro helmet and whatnot, but all the characters look cool, and I can't wait again for some action in this book. Now, if you're looking for some like old school X-Men action, I don't think you're going to get this in this book, okay? You're going to get these characters that you know, right? You know, and their names and everything, but when it comes to a story, this is completely different, okay? So be prepared for that. That's what what you can expect here. The next thing is that Jonathan Hickman loves to give you an information dump. It feels like this is a college course, and at the end of this issue, it's like he's going to give you a test. Like, I'm surprised there's not a little test at the end for a fill in the blank and then send it into Marvel and see if you got all the answers right. That's what this feels like. It feels like a test, okay? There's a lot of things in this book where you might have to go back and you reread it, okay? So, for instance, we have to learn about this world of the X-Men and where they're at right now, because there's this new world that's been developed for them, and it's Krakoa, and you wind up seeing like all the areas of where the X-Men are at when it comes to this. There's the House of X, there's the House of M, there's the Arbor Magna, there's the Arena, there's all these different places, and they're their own little map, and it's labeled by numbers, and so you're going to get a test at the end of this issue when you see that. Then you want to find out like the future bad guys of this book, okay? Where you find out this Orcus makeup, where it consists of so many different groups, like 31% of it is AIM, 24% of it is SHIELD, 16% of it is Strike, 8% of it is Sword, 7% is Alpha Flight, and they all make up this Orcus protocol. And what happens is this group comes out when there's an overabundance of mutants that's being formed, okay? So that's what's going on in this book. And then you learn about damage control, you know, the superheroes that clean up after there's a disaster in the superhero city. And, so you learn about that. And there's just all this stuff. And as the reader, okay, in this book, now you may like this, and everybody is different, but as the reader, you kind of get overwhelmed with all the information that's being processed to you, because everything that you knew about the mutants, it's basically changed, okay? It's Professor Xavier's, manufacturing mutants from some kind of freaking plant. They're making these pharmaceuticals where they're being distributed to the humans, and it gives them like 5 years extra life, and there's all these kinds of crazy shit going on, and you're like, okay, did I read this right? I gotta understand this. Wait, let me go back to page 2, let me circle page 4, and let me talk to Dies, and that's how you feel when you read this book. Information overload. So when you read this, you're gonna have to go back. Stay awake when you read this. Make this your first book or your last book on your pile, and you might want to read it. I think it's kind of cool, and I think the payoff is going to be great. When it comes to Hickman's writing, it takes a long time to set up, but the payoff is quite interesting. When he did Avengers, he did the whole thing with the incursions, and then we got Secret Wars, and then we got Battle World, and then we got this whole map of all the worlds going on and everything. it was insane, okay? And here you even get to learn about the Omega level mutant. So you get to learn of what an Omega level mutant is, and they give you examples and all kinds of shit. So again, it's insane, okay? And really, that's what you learn. You learn about the world, you learn about what the mutants are doing, you learn about, you know, all that stuff. And so really, by the time you get to the end of it, you're kind of like, okay, here's our world of X-Men now, a brand new era and a brand new event, and it's going to set up the new status quo for the mutants that we know. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of new mutants introduced into the future, and we're going to see how this plays out. So that's the story. So if you still are on the fence about House of X issue 1, again, if you're into, you know, information overload, if you like Jonathan Hickman's writing, if you want to take a chance on it, I say take a chance. I think this is going to be something that's going to be kind of cool, but you gotta give it time. It's gotta unfold, and we'll see what happens. But I can honestly say, when I got done reading this, I was exhausted. I just wish there was more of a balance when it came to this book. Okay, I wish there was some action scenes. There was none. I wish there was some character development or some kind of character interaction that was memorable. There was very few. They were far and few between, I must say. Okay, I get that you want to introduce your world and how everything is right now, but you got to keep the reader interested at the same time. We don't want a freaking test at the end of the book. And so that's what kind of turned me off to it. But if you understand Hickman's writing, give it time, there will be a payoff. So at the end of the day, I got to give this book probably 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm still really excited about the story. It just took a long time to read, and I had to go back a lot. So there are my thoughts on the book. You guys in the comments below, tell me what you thought of House of X issue 1. Are you going to get issue 2, or you're on the fence? Check it out. Tell me in those comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that all-important notification button so you don't miss a single video from me. And until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. And I'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Bye.